Well, God, in its infinite wisdom, allows us to express our love. How does it do that? It does that through law. And when I'm talking about law, I'm not talking about thou shalt not or thou shalt or make sure you stop at the stop sign, anything like that. Law is just like the law of gravity. But I can sit here and I can go, Susan, I love you so much. But if I just stand here, and the Apostle Paul says love without works is dead, it's like I'm just standing here and nothing's happening. There's no movement, there's no nothing. But through the dynamic laws of physical nature, I have laws of electricity that are running electricity down the neurons of my thing, which are setting in motion laws of chemical dynamics which allow my arms to extend and contract. Gravity will allow me to walk down the steps. And I can reach out and give her a hug. And so I can express that love through a very impersonal law of gravity, electricity, all these other things, but I can express a very personal love through this impersonal movement. And that's physical laws. Well, there are also spiritual laws. And in the next 3 weeks, you're going to hear a lot more about those spiritual laws. I'm just going to touch on them now. But that is how we get everything in our experience. And just as there are physical laws, there's a spiritual law, mental laws. That's why this book is called Science of Mind. It is the science of mental, it is a mental science. Mind is synonymous with spirit. There's a lot of words for God, spirit, mind. That's another talk in a class all by itself. But just take my word for it. Mind and spirit are the same thing. These spiritual laws, there's really only one big one. And that is the law of attraction. And if you've seen The Secret or heard anything about that, that's the big one. Ernest Holmes doesn't talk too much specifically about that in the book, but he refers to it all the time by like attracts like. Spiritual atmospheres, which is really just point of attraction. What he does talk about a lot is the law of cause and effect. That is how the law of attraction shows up in a dualistic three-dimensional world, which is us. Okay? Dualistic, left, right, front, back, up, down. I put my left foot in, my left foot out. I do the hokey pokey and I turn myself around. And that's what it's all about. Okay? That's what we're doing here. We're moving around and we're doing things. And so these spiritual laws, and you will learn a lot more about this cause and effect, then specify down into smaller laws of the law of correspondence, the law of circulation, the law of this, the law of that. And I swear people make up laws to fit their talks, right? They do. I swear I've heard people just make stuff up off the top of their head and say this is. But if it goes through cause and effect, the law of convenience. It's a spiritual law. Okay. But these laws pretty much take us into everything that we do. And what we get hung up on sometimes here is we get hung up on, okay, my cause is making me think this, but I want a new car, so I have to put the thoughts of the car. And we need to always go back to that space. It's not just cause and it's not the how, it's the why. It's our inherent nature is love. Our inherent nature is to reach out and bestow goodness upon everything around us and everybody around us. And so we need to come from that spot, or it will make it much easier. Because we are, whether we believe it or not, and this is it's a huge concept, we are the creation of God. And to be created, we must be created of God, of its nature. That is why it says, we are the image and likeness of God. We are creative, loving beings. That's what we are. And sometimes you might be able to feel that about yourself. I feel that about myself. I am a loving, creative being. But I know some people that aren't, and they can't be the image and likeness of God because just look at what they're doing. That's where we have a different perception than we should have. Because just like the inherent nature of water is to move along the path of least resistance, when we see a nice lake, I want to go water skiing or something, or a river that's going, I go, yeah, see, that's great. But if I see some class 5 rapids and I go, see, no, that's not right. But that is right. If you still look at it, the nature of the water is moving through the path of least resistance. It is just meeting a lot of resistance. The river gets narrower. It's going faster. There are rocks in the way. It's splashing up over the rocks. And if I'm not really attuned to this and I fall in the river, I'm going to, boom, just get smashed. It's over for me. But there are guys, if you ever go to REI and watch the TVs they got up on the screen, you're going to see some kid in a kayak come flying off a waterfall, hit those rapids running, and have a blast on that thing. And he's going to ride it, and he's going to have a great time because he knows where the path of least resistance is. He can see it, he can feel it, and he'll ride it, and he'll have a blast. Where one of us might just get smashed, and it's over. His perception's different. It's all that's different. We need to get to that place where our perception sees the love in every situation. Because if our inherent nature is love, it's there. That's it. That's it. Anything else is not true. It's just a bad perception or a misused perception. There's no good or bad. This thinking makes it so, as William Shakespeare said a long time ago. Maybe. Maybe. It's a spiritual law. And this is where it gets a little tricky for all of us, is knowing that everybody else is that face of God. Everybody else around here is just like me, just like God, no matter how they're showing up. And there's a bunch of analogies for this. I like the sun coming through my window, hitting the carpet. Now, the sun is out there. It's coming through the window. I'm sitting in my living room, big patch of sun there. The cat's laying on it, warming up. Well, that patch that I see, that's the sun. That's truly the sun. It is not just a reflection of the sun. It is not a painting of the sun. It's the sun. It's molecules and all kinds of horrible things. I saw something on TV just a couple nights ago. There's all kinds of stuff coming down through my window onto that thing. But that is the sun. If we were small enough, we could run up the molecules all the way to the sun. So that's really it. Now, if I put a veil in front of my window with a bunch of little holes in it, there's still going to be a bunch of little dots on my carpet. Those little dots are still the sun. It's not all of the sun, just part of the sun. It's like me. I'm not all of God, but God is all of me. Just like that. That is not all of the sun, but every bit of that dot is the sun. And what I see so many times, we look at ourselves as those little dots. We forget there's a shaft all the way up through that little hole, all the way back to the sun. We are a reflection of that sun. We're not just me, but I look at myself and go, you know, my dot's looking pretty good today. Boy, look, check her out. She's got a good dot. That guy's a little dim around the edges, okay? And we start doing that because we're looking. But every now and then, we look back up that ray and we see it and we go, God, oh, whoa, what was that? Well, I'm feeling my nature. And every time that happens, that hole gets a little bit bigger. Just a little bit. The more we do it, it gets a little bit bigger. And what happens there? That light gets a little bigger. Does that make me any more spiritual? No. I'm as spiritual as I'm ever going to be. So are you. Sorry. Step on your parade. But that you're as spiritual as you're going to be. What I do is I let that light shine brighter. And it's not my light. It's God's light shines brighter through me. Because it's God coming through that hole. It's not me. And so as I do that, as I feel this and I move through these spiritual principles and I learn all this stuff, I'm coming from the love that is God. I'm using my tools, my spiritual laws and all that stuff, but just to express my light, to let my light get bigger. That's what we do. Okay, so every one of you, when you look around, is the face of God. Just looking like you're looking at a dot. Each one of you is one of those things, but each one of you is a God. So I'd like right now, if you could, look at the person next to you and just say, you are the face of God.
You are the face of God.
Now say it with me, I hold you in my heart.
I hold you
Say it to that person.
in
Keep looking, look them in the eye. You are a part of me.
You are a part of me.
You are the face of God.
You are the face of God.
Now look at someone else. Say the same thing. You are the face of God.
You are the face of God.
I hold you in my heart.
I hold you in my heart.
You are a part of me.
You are a part of me.
You are the face of God.
You are the face of God.
Now look at someone across the room, maybe someone you've never seen before.
You are the face.
Look them in the eye.
God.
Look right into them.
You hold me in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
Can I just ask you to take the hand of the individual next to you? And know, right here and right now, the hand you hold is the hand of God. It's God's hand holding its own hand. And know, today, every face you see is the face of God, even that face you see in the mirror. And know with me right now that my divine nature is love. And I make it my intent right now to express that love, to express that nature of God that is me in everything I do. I make it my intention to see the love where love seems to not be. Because I know as I bring light to every situation, I am enlightened. That is the meaning of enlightenment, to bring light to every situation. I know that God, feeling itself, expressing itself me, just like the song says, God needs me to express itself in this plane in the only way it can on this earth, through me to express its love. And I take that responsibility and I take that gift and I let it be. It is my nature. I just let myself run downhill with it. And I know right now, as I bring that in, I am the very life of God itself. My life is filled with peace, beauty, joy, love. And I make my life exactly as I choose, right here and right now. And I love my life. Say it with me, I love my life.
I love my life.
So right here and right now, we let this be. Because our divine nature knows that this is what it is, so I don't need to put my hands on it anymore. It's over. I know it is done. And together we say, Amen. 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 Ashe. Shalom. Kenako. And so it is. Namaste. Thank you very much. Thank you.